Hello, how's it going, everybody? I know I do these literally last second every time, but that's like the whole point is like I just like popping them up and like whoever shows up shows up. Um, yeah, how's it going? Are we doing good? I sound good, all that. I know it's different. I have glasses on. We can get past that part of it. But I figured we just jump on here for like an hour or so and just I don't know, chill, talk about whatever. I know been kind of a slow new. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. It's been kind of a slow news month, NASCAR wise. Um, but you know, that's how some seasons are. Start a little slow and get crazier as they go. I feel like that's how like a lot of good seasons have been. So knock on wood on that one. Looking at what you guys are saying on in the chat, and I'll look at some of the topics here, but I just want to look at the ones I can just real quick like touch on. I'm seeing spent $90 on Lyft to go to an event that was canceled. Oh God, that sucks. I don't like doing like Uber and Lyft and stuff. So if I had to do that and then not have what I was having like or wanting to go to, I'd be so pissed. I'm not gonna lie. Nothing worse than paying 100 for sushi and still being hungry. Damn. Man, when I pay like 100 for sushi, it's like sushi, hibachi, all of that stuff. So let's see. I'm doing well. R.I.P. Kyle Busch's career. Man, I feel like I felt bad because it almost felt like we were dogpiling last night in the podcast on Kyle Busch, and that's why I was bringing up like, if Kyle Busch gets another win, all y'all Kyle Busch fans at home you have every right to just gloat all over everybody. Did you see Emp's new video? I did. I watched it today. Well, I had time and just doing stuff around the house, and it's Emp Lemon, so it's an excellent video. And I like all of the frustrations that I know he had because him and I texted a lot over the last 2 seasons about NASCAR because he is a huge NASCAR fan. If you haven't been able to tell from the videos alone, but he is a huge NASCAR fan. And when he brought up that, like he was saying how diehards like even wonder why they watch it at points, and talking about the playoff drama and controversies in 2024. I remember having that conversation over DMs with him on that, and it's like he was pouring out all of the frustration into that video, and then intertwining Austin and at the end Ty Dillon. It is an excellent video if you guys haven't seen it, and I implore you to watch it. It's a long one. I think it's like an hour and a half or longer, but it's well worth the time and the watch for sure. Now I won't give you spoilers. I saw this one. There was an interesting point that was brought up earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Now, I know there's a super chat as well, and I'll read that in a little bit too. I want to kind of group, if anyone else leaves them, group them together a little bit. But this, let's see. No, it wasn't this one. I know you were the one that put it. I think I clicked the wrong comment or like hearted it from you. There. I'm gonna have to put this over here for a moment. I'll take you off. I'll put you guys back on screen. But suggestion for a topic: NASCAR 26 expectation and ideas. I did put a video out about it a few months ago, but a lot of times passed since then. Manual pitting and pacing would be nice. So if y'all want, put your options in the chat for when it comes to NASCAR 26. So I don't think manual pacing and pitting is ever going to happen. At least from what when I was at the little showcase they did last year, it was pretty much said that that's probably not going to happen just because it's more simcade than iRacing, than main iRacing. But as somebody who it's done events with John and stuff, like main iRacing needs a little bit of help too. I'm not gonna lie. I know that people brought it up, like, and Dale Jr.'s like, well, I have no iRacing slander. Like, okay, I'll do it then. Not that I'm slandering him, but for the game, I do think that there need to be big jumps in improvement for this one. The first one, NASCAR 25, I had said like it should be fully expected and should not be thought of as any more than a good base, and I think it was a good base. Um, it's definitely I know a lot of people had a lot of replayability value with it. I didn't. I really think that if there's more ways to add to it and get a little meat on the bones, we really got like the skeleton version of what I think the main game long term should be. So yeah, I mean, I'm seeing here, where's it at? Where's that? Just lost it. Yeah, this one. I would love silly season. I know the contracts are the issue with that one. And contracts and sponsors are great for the sport in so many ways, but it definitely ruins a lot of fun aspects that other sports teams and sports fans can get. So I don't know how much silly season we would get, just because it's a lot more uptight about that stuff than it used to be. Where's the other? There was one, and God, it's not letting me scroll to find it. And I know other games have a silly season, but NASCAR is so scared of angering any sponsors that I doubt they do it. God, I lost it. There was a really good comment one of y'all had left about NASCAR 26 on it. I'll say, for me, I just think that there needs to be, I think, more meat to the career mode. Caution, I believe they didn't have caution replays, so caution replays definitely need to happen. They really need to fix the road course cutting stuff. I think that's just abysmal, personally. The fact that you can completely cut some corners and be fine, and then other ones, it's just like completely, you completely overkill. You would have like barely any of your car over the line that's invisible, and all of a sudden it's oh, we got to stop and all that. Like I hate that part of it. I think maybe, and just it's just improve basically everything. That's the best way I can put it. Like I haven't felt the need for about a month or so to play the game, maybe two. I mean, I've played it with other people, and I've played it online with other people before, but I don't. There's not much bringing me back, really. I feel like you can move all of, or a lot of, the Dale Jr. download segments, and you could probably, like, with the effort put into that, put in other cutscenes or other things like that. Just, I think looking back on old games would definitely be the way to go about it, because a lot of the old games had, I think, the right pieces in place, but with today's technology would be so much more fun. Yeah, I mean, I'd be down with this. I really think also expanding the paint booth more. I think making it as close to Technic's paint booth as possible would be the perfect way to go about it. Because yeah, there was some pretty cool stuff that people made, but I feel like the more customization you can give people, the better on that. Victory lane celebration and victory calls. Yeah, that's another one. I think on top of that, I would say proper day to night transitions would be a good visual piece of it. And making sure it's more apparent that there's track changes when it comes to maybe the time. It's a pie in the sky thing, and I don't think it's like probably a NASCAR 28 or NASCAR 30 thing at this point, unless they make these huge jumps. I would love rain racing on the road courses and the short tracks. I think that'd be really fun. It's been fun every time you watch people. Like, again, I watch iRacing. I'm not going to pay all the money for it in the sim rig and all that. I'm very casual with that side of it, and it's fun to watch. And it's fun, like when I watched John do his streams, and they're slipping and sliding around. Yeah, I was at that Coda race. I was soaked, like, just completely at that race. I sat in the front stretch in one of the suites. It was an awesome experience. And I would love to relive that in a video game. Like, I think that'd be really cool. So I think that's just the big thing is beefing up the good parts of the game while adding customizing abilities to everything else. I don't know why I cannot speak very well, which is probably not boding well for me having a a stream, but we'll power through. I'm gonna have to move the chat again, so I'm not completely blocked. Joshua here says, my parents think that it might be a good idea to have the contractor family friend who helped build my cabin and restore part of my Rebirth Cup Series collection to take him to the fall race at Kansas this year. We shall see. You should take as many people as possible. That fall race at Kansas, I am planning on going this year. I took a year off of going to races last year to go into dad mode. And now I'm going to be at Chicagoland. I'm going to be at Kansas. I might be at Indy, but that's going to be a long shot. I won't be at Nashville. I got stuff going on. I'll be able to like do post-race stuff and whatever, but I won't be able to take the time to be at the track all weekend, unfortunately, which sucks because it's right down the road from me. But yeah, definitely. That's my thing, is take as many people as possible to races as you can. Because I think going to a race is so much of a better way to get people to be racing fans than just, watching on TV. TV doesn't do it justice. I think racing, especially NASCAR, is a great different sport in the sense that it's better in person than TV. Like football, I love going to my Viking games. I love going to Cubs games. But if you don't get the right seats and you don't know where to get the right seats, you're going to be not having the greatest time. Like you better be like right on the field or right on like maybe the third baseline or wherever at any stadium. If you're high up, it's really not that good of an experience. If you need binoculars, say at Talladega, because it's a big ass track, right? But it's awesome feeling the cars, the whole pack come around. If you need binoculars at a football game, you might as well be at home because you can save the money and get a much better experience. Let's see. What are the odds NASCAR gets rid of stage cautions? Probably low, but I'm going to push back on people who are like, oh, no, it's never going to happen. Okay. Well, I was told elimination playoffs are never going away. I was told North Wilkesboro. I told people North Wilkesboro wasn't coming back. Never would come back. It happened. We were told that they couldn't really go back on any of the overly entertainment stuff. I was told that we couldn't go back to the Rock. I was told we would never have a race at Bowman Gray. Like, we've had major changes that I do think, I think it's a small chance. Like if I had to guess, like on the positive, like if I was being as positive as possible, I'd probably say like 30%. I personally think like 15%. Like, I think it's something they're talking about. I don't know that the TV providers would allow it to happen until the next contract. It's the same thing with like the chase versus full season points. If you go back and watch the announcement of the chase, like it's clear half of the people in there are like, it's the best we could get, and Mark Martin pretty much said as much. And it's more because of this contract than the TV deal. So if they are able to change it, it's probably going to be at certain tracks, maybe super speedways. I don't know how much is going to change the racing, maybe road courses. But a lot of it too is that if, for instance, the road course one, when they took the stage cautions away from the road courses, what happened is that the road course races, because these cars drive so well and there's usually not a lot of cautions at them, they went by really quick. And the TV providers also like having the full window filled up because that's the way they maximize ratings. People look at the TV window if they're looking through the channels. Like a lot of casual fans will look through the channels and they'll be like, oh, there's an hour and a half left. I'll come back in an hour and see the finish. If you do that with a super short race, people are going to come back and see probably paid programming if it's Fox because they'll already be off the air. Or if it's NBC or TNT or I guess not Prime, but the other ones, it'll be a post race show. So I wouldn't expect it soon, but I would be happy to be pleasantly surprised and wrong on that. Let's see. 5 minutes left in basketball, so that's 50 minutes. Yeah. I used to be I used to be really into a lot of different sports. I never could get into hockey. I wanted to, I just never could. But I used to be really into basketball. I was a big Bulls fan during like the Derrick Rose years. Kind of fell off after he got hurt, but that was one of the things that always annoyed me about basketball. When I watch basketball with people, it's like it's gotten way worse. If I want to watch the last 5 minutes of game, I want it to, of game play time, I want it to be like a 15-minute experience at most. I don't want to wait there an hour. And football is kind of getting that way too nowadays too, just because they can take timeouts, they can get more commercial time. And NASCAR has done the same with stage cautions and a lot of aspects, I would say, expanding the stage caution. Everything now, sports wise, especially if it's on cable, has to be tailored to making the networks and everyone involved money. And that's the sad part of it. And so we're all going to be the ones, regardless of it's baseball, if it's basketball, if it's racing, if it's hockey, if it's some of those other backwater football leagues, the viewers are going to be the ones that suffer, unfortunately. And it's just, I agree. I would say, honestly, I know people rip on NASCAR for like losing its way and stuff, but like NASCAR, at least you can see they're trying to right wrongs. Like basketball, like all the stuff I hear about it, like, so I've been out of it for a while. I didn't know what load management was. Now all of a sudden I'm seeing that people are like taking 20 games off at a time during a season. Like, why the hell would I want to watch? But going back to the NASCAR stuff, that's going to be the name of the game for a while, unfortunately. Let's see. I'm a Broncos, Nuggets, and Reds fan. So, see, what is a polar bear doing in Arlington on that last one there? A Reds fan. Like, I by the way, I have nothing against Reds fans. Actually, I walked past y'all's stadium on the way to the Vikings-Bengals game I went to. And it's funny, I say, like, what's a polar bear doing in Arlington? And I say, oh, yeah, it's root for the Bulls. Cubs fan. And I'm also a Vikings fan. So, I guess I'm a hypocrite on that one. Another super chat here. Snapback says, off topic, SVG is the best running ECR car by far at 16th in points. And out of the 8 next gen Atlanta races, Kyle Larson has gotten into a crash 5 out of 8 races. So the Larson one doesn't surprise me because it seems like he's always collected and shit. But the SVG stuff, that's wild. I'm like looking at the points now, and so on my desk, I have the points because I always write them down each week, muscle memory. And I'm looking through and wow. So you got Elliott, Larson, Byron, 5th, 6th, 7th. And then the next Chevy is Hocevar. Then Suarez, then SVG. Kind of, damn, this is crazy to me. What is the best NASCAR video game of all time? So I know a lot of people say NR 2003. I have not been able to play that very much over the years. My personal favorite is still Thunder 04, just because I have an old Xbox. I'm probably going to get a PS2 soon, at least in, probably within the next couple months. So I play it all the time. Like I have Thunder 04 sitting on my television stand right now, ready. So the thing is I love old Xbox games in general because they're the ones I grew up on. So I have Madden 07 because that was my favorite one growing up. I have Thunder 04 for NASCAR, Battlefront 2 for Star Wars, back when I still liked Star Wars, and Jurassic Park Operation Genesis for my dinosaur love. And then I got to find, it's Scooby-Doo Night of a Thousand Frights, I think it is, that I used to play. But I would add that one to my collection of the other games, and I have them ready to go at any point. I can just have a physical copy. I think somebody had put that in the chat, and maybe it was a super chat. I want a physical copy of NASCAR 26. I like having a physical copy of a game. I know it's old-fashioned. If I had to specially order it, I'd be okay doing that. I'd be A-okay doing that. What makes Madden 07 good? I never played it. All of them, I'll be honest, any of the Maddens like 03 to about 08 on those old gen kind of mixed together. I just thought they were pretty solid. They aren't as janky as the new ones. I'm not a fan of new Madden. I have the newest Madden game, but that's only because I got it for like $5 to $10 or something like that on a sale. And I was like, what the hell? I'll give it a shot. And it was better than the last couple, but it's not good. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Nintendo version 2. I remember I told my wife about that, and she's big on Nintendo, and um, she's like, "Well, I'm not gonna get on anything else." Yeah, I don't get people not wanting physical copies because, I mean, you're seeing it with like Disney, for instance, where they'll just take stuff off, or like Netflix will take stuff off, and it's just gone forever unless they elect to sell the rights to somebody else to distribute it. Um, and I don't like that. I would like, if I lose internet access, to be able to play a game I want, or watch a movie or something like that. I don't think that's like old fashioned or asking too much. I think that's just having standards. Um, and don't get me wrong, like downloading some games are fun too, and movies or shows or whatever, but there's just something that I always liked about opening up a DVD or a Blu-ray or a video game, and just that, having that actual physical copy there. Like, yeah, it was a bitch to take care of after, how many years. My first copy of Thunder 04 went bad in like 2009. The current one I have, I think I ordered when I was like 16. And I still every now and then run into problems. I have to go through all of the old techniques, whether it's buffering it a little bit or whether it's the toothpaste technique or whatever. But I think that's part of the charm with it, and I hate that we're kind of losing that in general. And that's not just a NASCAR thing; that's just a media thing in general. I will go off on tangents on that one. And I think, Beast of Metal, release it on a disc. I would have played it by now if they had. That said, I have since discovered I can stream 25 with my PS Plus subscription, so I'm likely to play it soon. I think you should. I think it's fun enough. It's better. I would say it's better than the Heat games. Personally, I liked it better than pretty much everything after Inside Line. I was one of the few people, I think, that wasn't a fan of NASCAR 15 like a lot of people were. So I personally think it's the best for me. It's the best one since Inside Line. It's not close to Inside Line, so like don't make it. Don't. I hope I'm not making it sound like I'm selling it to be like this amazing game. Because I think Inside Line is way better than a lot of people gave it credit for at the time. But I think, I mean, the thing is that with physical copies too, that's where you can get casuals to jump on, in my opinion. Because if I'm like, when I see physical copies of games at Walmart, because I go to Walmart for whether it's for like extra cords or things for streaming equipment or whatever, or lights or whatnot, I'll look at the video games that are there. I have no interest in buying them, but if any catch my eye, like it sits in my head. And all I'm thinking is, when I was like 7 years old and my mom would have me at Walmart, back then they had like the fish there and the lobster, like Walmart was so cool to go to. But I remember like the few times we would go there, or we go to Target, or we go to wherever, and we'd go down the aisle, like next to all the tech stuff. And I would say, I'd see the NASCAR game, and and I'd have the reaction. At the time, the newest one when I started watching was, I believe, Chase for the Cup. But I never got that one. I ended up, the next one I got was 06. But it caught my eye. It got the brand in front of people. And that's something that I think a lot of people are forgetting on that side of it. Like that is a marketing tool that's just right there for you to take. And I think physical copies are gonna make a comeback for a lot of people and be more popular if they haven't already. I mean, look at the rise of people who listen to vinyl now. I mean, hell, when I was down in Destin with my family, my dad took me to a record shop because he was looking for specific ones, that he'd play. The hell? Oh shit, there's a storm here. When the hell did that happen? It's been sunny, and all of a sudden I heard this loud ass noise, and it's fucking lightning. Sorry. Damn, when the hell that came up out of nowhere? Holy hell! I must not have been paying attention to the weather today. Sorry, I don't know if y'all heard that, but that scared the living Jesus out of me. Yeah, I'm looking at my weather app I have on my computer, and Jesus, we're gonna get okay. Well, I hope the stream stays up. I didn't know. Yeah, I guess I might as well play this since we might as well. It's the lightning round. Holy shit. Dude, that scared the hell out of me, man. Damn. We're going to really test how good the internet is here. Wow. I'm looking at the radar because I live in the Nashville area, and I think the worst is going to go north of where I'm at, but we're going to get nailed. Y'all might hear some thunder this time. How about that? I probably should pay attention to the weather better. I'm going to be honest. Let's see. I'll look at a couple more of the super chats, and then I want to keep an eye on the chat too, because I don't want you guys to, I don't want it to be pay to play. Damn. They're actually having a soccer game right next door. And I was wondering why I didn't hear the PA for the last couple minutes. That's why. Like as like the countdown, like for the 1 minute was going, there was actually there was actually the national anthem going on back there over their intercom. Let's see. Better or worse than the sirens? So like, do you mean like tornado sirens? I mean, I found out we don't have tornado sirens, or at least they're starting to put some into our county, and that blew my mind as somebody who has seen a tornado roll through before. Sorry, I'm not going to drone on all night about that. But if you see me like jump or something, like that's why. I was wondering why it was getting so damn dark so quick. Not gonna lie, I thought Mike Roots was gonna crash out after Gibby's win. His response was even funnier. I saw that Ty blocked him. I love Michael. Michael is awesome. I love the energy and passion he brings to his streams and videos. And like, I'm somebody that like after a long day, I'll like watch YouTube videos or whatever. But if I want to just like chill in bed, like early in the morning or late at night, I'll put on YouTube shorts, and it never fails within the first 5 or so YouTube shorts, whether it's a morning or night. Michael is always right there. He's a great dude though. We're going to get him on the show soon. It's a damn shame we couldn't have had like multiple guests on, because that would have been really, really fun to get his take. Also, do the licensing problems. No Coca-Cola on Priest's Clash card. Yeah, I saw that, man. I saw that, and I again, sponsors are the lifeblood of the sport, so I'm not gonna, say sponsors are awful and any, for fans in general. But it's just, I don't get why we have to have such strict rules around logos being on diecast cars. I mean, it just, to me, it feels like, yeah, maybe you'd probably want some money or something from it, I guess. But it feels like it'd be really good advertising. I mean, can you imagine if they had the Coca-Cola cars from like Dale Earnhardt and Dale Jr. and it didn't have Coca-Cola on it? Like, that would be stupid. Like, why do I want to, like, what would they do with the polar bear holding the Coke bottle? Would they just like have a polar bear just like waving? Would there just be like a black, like, spot in the middle? Would it just be filled in? Like, it just is dumb to me. Are you going to all the races at Chicagoland? Yes. Yes. So there is a chance, I'm not sure what day I'll be in for sure just yet, but I'm more than likely going to be at Chicagoland Thursday through Monday in the infield. I'll try and get out there for like the tweet up. Maybe we'll have something that I don't know if we'll have something at the speed stage or whatever. Maybe we can do something really cool like in the infield, and like we'll say, hey, we're gonna do a podcast at like 10 in the morning before the race or something that day. Because I know that I believe Eric and Danny, I believe, are going to be there. Maybe we just do like a podcast in the infield and just have people like show up. We can make it like an old NASCAR race day stage. I'll buy a new mic and everything and make sure we all have like 3 of them. Yeah, I'm going to be at, for sure, Arca night. More than likely Thursday, just because we want to get ahead of the rush, just because we got a rental camper for that one, more, I believe. I got to double check on all these. I probably will be leaving right after the O'Reilly race. Like, I'll probably do the post-race stream, like, in the car on the way out of Chicagoland, just because we do put our own 4th of July fireworks show on. That might change. We might just stay there the whole time. And then we'll be there all Sunday and then Monday afterwards. Yes. Okay. Y'all will be there. Awesome. Good to know. Yeah, but I will be there a while, for sure. I'll be in the infield for majority of it. I don't know whether or not I'll have media or just be there as a fan. So yeah, I'll keep y'all posted. That's for sure. I'm so excited though. Plus I've been getting updates. So actually, if y'all remember, if you were watching the podcast when Eric flipped a coin, he got it from Chicagoland from our buddy Larry that's out there. I got one as well. And it's a double-sided one from the 2005 winners. So you have on one side here, it's Dan Weldon. And then on the other side, it's Dale Jr. So, like, it's pretty cool. And I know that Eric has a Matt Kenseth one. I remember that Matt Kenseth one because I was at that race and it was cold as hell. It was rainy as hell that night. I remember of course, it was when the Vikings played the Bears. And of course, it's one of the worst Vikings teams I'd ever seen and one of the worst in franchise history. So they lost right at the end. And I'm getting it from everybody in the infield because I'm like the only Viking fan apparently in Illinois that day. And I remember because we had to just wait through the rain, and the guy that brought the fuel for the jet dryers and stuff, he had a camera and he was parked right next to where our camper was. And like the day before, we invited him over and he had prime rib and cheesy potatoes with us. And that next day, he had to make a run into Chicago. We got a police escort, and he shows us the video of the police escort he got, like, into the city and into, where he had to get the fuel and then back. And it was one of the coolest things. I remember because it was really cold. Matt Kenseth won. Junior, I know, blew an engine. I think Joey Logano blew an engine too. And those are like the two chasers that immediately were just out of contention. But I also remember because, if I'm not mistaken, no, that was the year before. No, I got to miss school that next day, which was always great, especially when you're in high school. Like I know I had senioritis for about a year before I graduated, but like the symptoms were coming on, and the onset of senioritis was there for a while. So I was okay with that. The year before, in 2012, when I went, that was the first year we were in turn 4. That was the first year, that I went. I'm trying to remember the timeline here, which that'll make sense in a moment. That's why I forget. But I got a concussion the Saturday before the Richmond race. Pretty bad one, like at the time too. Like it affected me pretty bad at the time. So I got a concussion Saturday before the Richmond race in a football game that morning. And then I got to go to Chicagoland that Thursday, and it was super cold that Thursday for even that time of year. It was like in like the 20s that morning. And damn, it's coming down. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but it's coming down. And so I remember I went to that race weekend with a concussion. And I usually will spend the first lap of every race I go to without ear protection. I just like taking it all in. Then the rest of the race, I take care of myself. That was like the only race I think in the last 15 years I haven't done that at, just because the fact that I was able to get on top of a camper with how wobbly I was a minor miracle. And the year before that was the one where where we had to leave because of the rain out. And then I got to come back that Monday, which is pretty awesome too. Um, okay, y'all can't hear the rain. That's good. Let's see. Yeah, everyone thought Matt Kenseth was going to win that 2013 championship, man. I mean, that team was so fast. And the thing was, is it wasn't just that he was fast, it's that the 48 team seemed mortal by the end of the regular season, if you will. And they did that a few times where there are a few times where the 48 team in the last 4 or 5 races, like it never failed. It was like it would start somewhere around Pocono, Michigan, maybe Watkins Glen. They'd have trouble maybe at Bristol or Atlanta, Richmond, but they always had like trouble at times. And yeah, I remember Jimmy at this point hadn't won a championship in 3 years, like it since 2010. So it's like we weren't thinking at the time either, for like a lot of people at least weren't thinking that oh yeah, Jimmy's a lock. Yeah, we knew he was going to be in contention. Like we knew he was probably better than the 2 team in 2012. But I think a lot of people underestimated Jimmy because that 48 team had stumbled a little bit. And a lot of us also probably thought too, though, like, yeah, they do this a lot, but like they're going to be set up for the chase. And they were far and away the best team that entire season, not just the chase. Matt Kenseth and that 20 team were second. From there, like the rest of the chase field was kind of a scrum of like, Harvick, Kyle Busch, Dale Jr., then you could probably add a couple more, but like those next 3 were like the guys that they were like, you would think if those 2 stumbled, if they both stumbled, those 3 would be up there. And Harvick was like mathematically in, but he wasn't a real contender, not with RCR equipment. Kyle Busch had like one too many problems. Junior had the engine issue and had a mechanic at Chicagoland, had a mechanical issue at Charlotte. Those 2 alone, I mean, that lost him enough points. The 88 team was as fast as the 48 and the 20 at the end there, but it's just they stumbled at the wrong time. But I go in depth about this, and I point that out just because it's probably going to happen this year. Somebody is probably going to seem really damn good through race 21 or 22. Maybe they have a few issues right before the chase. The difference now is it really does matter where you are in the point standings going in. But the 2013 season, I kind of think of it, I can't say I think of it like this one. This season to me, I think of as there's nothing really flashy about it yet. Like, there's nothing too horrible, but there's nothing really too good yet. I think that's why a lot of people are kind of bored with it. And 2013 was kind of like that, but then they had like some crazy ass storylines, like Danica and the Daytona 500. Like, that was huge. Everybody was talking about it. Like, even non-NASCAR fans were talking about it. We're about to get a big thunder. That lightning looked close. And then you had some big ass crashes. You had some moment, the Tony Stewart stuff. But Auto Club was one of the best races I still think I've ever seen, not just finishes. But let's see. I think I put that one up already. Praying North Wilkesboro is good since I'm going there. At least I have a chance to see my cousin and her baby boy. That's awesome. Like, that should make it enough. But I hope it's good for you too. And I think it'll be decent. I think we've seen the 2 shortest tracks, I should say, have been better than they were last year. So hopefully Wilkesboro is the same way. It'll be a night race at least. We don't want the truck series at Bowman Gray. I already renewed. I didn't pay for trucks. I will get a refund if not Cup. # keep Cup at Bowman Gray. Cup, there's a good chance Cup could still be at Bowman Gray as the all-star race. Maybe they keep it the Clash. But, they have a contract to have NASCAR events either way. So, we'll see. Let's see. Wish NASCAR race to halfway, split the races in half. They will throw a yellow no matter what. So let's not count the caution laps, just race to the half. I hate that they throw the caution. But I feel like if they don't count the caution laps, they're just going to bring him in and do like a halftime show. And I don't want to be more like stick and ball sports either. The island of Sodor wants Cup at Bowman Gray. Could the problem with Trackhouse be Marks himself? He seems to not make the best decisions / burn bridges with relationships. Example, Pitbull and Suarez. And Ty Norris. What's another one? Maybe it's a personality issue. It could be. It could also just be that a lot of teams really got the jump on the next gen car, and now the best of the best are the best of the best again, and are clearly the best of the best. It also doesn't help that ECR, from what it sounds like, is not on the level that Hendrick engines are. So I think a lot has to do with it, but maybe that's a compounding part of it. That could definitely be a part. Let's see. Now every race is no longer caution free. I have said that I think a caution free race is like a perfect game in baseball. Like everybody has to be perfect and everyone has to do their jobs. And I would like to see one caution free race in my life. Because I think the then Busch series had some after I started watching, but I didn't really get big into watching the two lower series until I started doing stuff on YouTube, and I wanted to be more in the know and talk more about it. At least now you guys have proof I watch every race because I pop on after. I might have a bad take, but I watched the damn thing. Dega. Dega 01. I believe the first race in 01, then the last one, the second one in 02. Both were caution free. I believe it was like a fuel saving deal with Dale Jr. and Tony Stewart at the front. Let's see. We talked about a bit about some of the other stuff real quick. I will bring up one thing that I had put in the title, and we haven't really talked too much about it yet, but Blaney with the crew change. I don't know how big of a difference it's going to make, but I'm glad it happened. We talked about it in depth last night, and if you haven't watched or listened to NWP, I think you should. It was a pretty good episode. We had Grant on, and he brought on some pretty good stats when it pertains to the crew. But that's going to be a big one. We'll find out how good this mic is. But this team, like I said, it's in win now mode. You can't dilly-dally around when you're sitting second in points. And Blaney right now is 62 back, which is pretty far back, but still within a race of Tyler Reddick. But the interesting part is he's 60 ahead of Chase Elliott in fifth. And it's not necessarily that he's ahead of Chase Elliott. It's that he's in that top four. And I need more before I can think that Ty Gibbs is going to stay there. But Blaney and Hamlin are starting to distance themselves with Tyler Reddick. And the way that the chase is set up and the way that it's 25 from first to second, then 10 more points from second to third, and then 5 from so on, you're going to have to be up front in the regular season. You're going to have to perform all the way to the end. And even if he doesn't win the regular season title, he still would be able to be in that top area. And I think if a 25 or 35 or 40 point gap is the gap that Blaney has to make up on Tyler Reddick, he can make that happen. Denny Hamlin's still pretty damn good. I think that's the one he needs to stay ahead of no matter what. But he's put a pretty big gap. I mean, again, about 80 or so ahead of William Byron, and you got Christopher Bell is almost 100 behind Blaney. So they can't keep missing out. When they've lost, I think it was what you guys, I think, said like 88 total spots they've lost, that pit crew, which is 11 a race. So if he's losing, like we talked about, if he's losing a point or two a race, that's going to add up over the next 18 races. I mean, it doesn't seem like it in the moment, but if he averages losing 2 spots a race, that's, I believe, if I'm doing my math right, want to say 36 a race or in the regular season. 36 points is a lot. 36 points could make a huge difference. That's not even including stage points. I'm just thinking finish. And obviously, it could go either way. You could have bigger ones than loss or gain. So they needed to make this change. And this was, in my opinion, a good time to make it. I think they should have probably made it, honestly, between the last two races, have the Easter weekend, so there can be a little more synergy there. But either way, have more experience on that team, even if they're not necessarily that much faster. Having the experience and less mistakes would definitely serve them really well. And I think that anything that strengthens this 12 team, I mean, I still think he's probably the championship favorite. I think Reddick still can and probably will keep the points lead just because of the sheer amount of races he's won. But I think Blaney is the best one out there consistently. So, I'm glad they made it early. I'm glad this wasn't something that they had to scramble and make a bunch of changes during the chase, because at that point, you're having to get a bunch of people all on the same page with like 5 or 6 races left. Like, good luck at that point. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, for Blaney's sake, it's a really, really good change. That 21 team doesn't really have mistakes. Let's see. Jeez. Yeah. The field is basic. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Field's kind of 2.25 times the field has passed you and you've had to pass them. Like, everyone talks about Blaney's insane passing numbers. Well, part of it is that he has to keep making up for his really bad crew. So I think that that's going to be a really, if not good change, big change. And I mentioned it earlier. Yes, I did see Emp's video. Emp's great. He's just a great dude in general, and he's amazing at stuff he makes on YouTube. Like, I would honestly say, I think you could make a case that Emp Lemon is one of the, like, not just one of the best like documentary YouTubers. He's one of the best YouTubers out there. I some of the biggest channels, the ones like the Mr. Beasts and others like that, I don't think are. When you have like basically 1 or 2 or 3, or however many person crew for his videos, and they turn out that freaking good, I mean, you could put it on Netflix, and I think a lot of people wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So I love that one of the best storytellers on YouTube is a NASCAR fan and talks about our sport this way. And I'm also glad, again, that I know the guy and that he's an awesome dude. Like, so that's the best part too, I think, for everyone at home that's wondering. Like, it's not only that he's awesome at what he does, he's also just an awesome person in general. And when you see him come on our show, and like he's talking really passionately to the point where like he can't put words together because he's either so excited or so mad. Like, that's the passion he has for NASCAR. And it was really fun being at like Daytona and Talladega with them. And I remember that's one of the funnier ones I could tell people, because like I know a lot of people who like just know of him because they're a fan or subscribe to him. And I'll be like, oh yeah, me and him went for a beer run at Talladega back in like 22. And like, because we were like at a hotel. I think like Slap was there. Eric was there. My wife was there. There were a few others. It was packed to the brim. Like, I think we had like, it could fit a suite that could fit like 4 people. And we ended up fitting something like 12 in there. Save money though. But a lot of people slept on couches. But him and I like walked like a quarter mile down the road so that we could go and get a bunch of cases of beer and bring them upstairs for the weekend. And I want to say, I think we stayed that place 2 nights. And I want to say that we all stayed up like till 4 a.m. every damn night. And like poor Eric, he had to be at the track both days at like 7 a.m. And we were, I think, like an hour away. So the poor guy is just like, arms dragging on the ground as the weekend is going. I felt so bad, in hindsight, but we all had fun. It was a great time. But I ain't gonna go any further. I ain't going any further. All I'll say is about one of those trips. I think Eric wasn't at this one. No, he wasn't at this one, but I know there was the one where I had like 20 shots of moonshine in one night, and it was pretty damn close together. Never again. Never again. I think the only time it was worse is when I took a shot at Everclear after a really bad Vikings loss. And I was like, no, never again. I'm good. This is why I like doing these, because I can just go off on tangents. Yeah. It was bad. And I think I wasn't the fat ass I am now. Like at that point, I think it was like $190 soaking wet. So it hit me that much harder. It was not a smart move, and I could not do it anymore. Man, if I went for too long of a run during the day and then I go to bed and sleep for like 8-9 hours and wake up, I feel hungover. Like I can't do that anymore. I got all my partying out of the way before I turned like 24. And at that point, it's just no. At this point, if I'm going to have a beer or a shot or something, I'm going to pace myself. I'm not, I don't know. Plus, most of the people I hang out with don't drink anymore or at all. So like John, I don't think John's had something to drink in a long time, and it's smart. It's smart for him. Like the dude, he's probably the best shape of anyone I know. Unk status confirmed. Have I reached that point yet? Like I have a kid, I have a wife, I can't party anymore, or I get super hungover. Like if I reach that point, I'm boring. And I know you're joking, but I'm boring. Let's see. Remember that live show y'all had last year for the Nashville race on NWP last year? Jarrett peer pressuring Eric to drink a shot of Fireball. Was it Fireball? Maybe. I don't remember. I know I had a shot of that Tennessee whiskey that they had sent. Like that's my thing. It's like if I have like a nice, glass of whiskey at like on a Friday night, watch a storm roll in or something. I'm good with that. But that glass is gonna last me like 2 or 3 hours. Like I'm not gonna be done with that thing quick by any means. You're not nunk till you're 42. 42, that's an odd number to sit at with it. Not till I'm 30. Well, I'll be 30 in God. A year and 7 months. No, about a year and a half, actually, give or take. Which is funny because when I had actually made the first stuff for this channel, I think I had just turned 20. So that's kind of crazy, man. When I turn 30, I will have been on YouTube full time for a third of my life. That's nuts. I love it. Man. I love hanging with all y'all. And you know what? Where's it at? And I respect that. It ain't for some people. So yeah. That's kind of how I am with it. People like going out and doing that. To each your own with it. If they don't pressure them to it. Let's see. The blank red Kroger Ryan Priest Clash Win diecast is exactly why I drink Pepsi. At least they'd let you put their logo on a car. Common Coke L. I'll say I personally like Coca-Cola if it's Mexican Coca-Cola because they use actually real sugar instead of corn syrup, I believe it is. I'm not a big soda guy, or a pop, I should say. God, I've been living down here too long. I'm calling it soda. It's pop. I'm a Midwesterner at heart, not geographically anymore. But for me, I have the three usual pop I go to, and it's Dr. Pepper, Mexican Coca-Cola, and then if I drink Mountain Dew, it has to be out of an aluminum can. It can't be out of plastic because I think it tastes horrible out of plastic. I have to have Coca-Cola out of a glass bottle, and Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is the only one that tastes the same no matter what, and I really like. For me, I don't do rum and Cokes. I do rum and Dr. Pepper if I'm gonna do anything like that. I remember, speaking of fun NASCAR story having to do with Mountain Dew. So I actually had tweeted once. I think because I had a thing that deleted a bunch of my old tweets at one point, just because, I just was tired of people being like, well, you had this take back in 2016. Well, yeah, I was a dumbass 18-year-old. My views at 28 are different than when I was 18. I just thought, whatever, I'm not going to have people digging up shit that I said like my sophomore year of high school. So I got rid of most of that. But I had a tweet in like 2015, I want to say. And I said, if Dale Jr. wins the Daytona 500 on Sunday, I will film a video of me climbing out of the window of my car and I would dump a Diet Mountain Dew on my head and walk into my school. And I'm sitting in my class. I think it was my chemistry class. I think it was like a science class. I was sitting in my science class and I was doing like some group assignment and I just see my phone light up in my pocket. I'm like, wonder why that's happening. And I like look at it. This is how old it was. And it says Dale Jr. has favorited your tweet. And I was like, what? Holy shit. And I'm like, no, I actually have to live up to it. And I was going to, and remember, this is February in Northern Illinois. It was not warm by any means. And I would have climbed out of my old 2001 Impala, dumped a Diet Dew on my head, and then walked in. And the best part of it is that I had to wear a uniform because, and I've mentioned this before, but people seem to be surprised when I say it. Like I went to a Catholic school. I was a private school kid. I got to dress nice. It was awesome. So I would have walked in a full suit coat that is just drenched in Diet Mountain Dew, and I would have owned that shit, man. I would have owned it. Because how many times can you celebrate your guy winning the Daytona 500 usually? I mean, the fact that my guy got it twice is, that's not many people get 2 Daytona 500 wins or more. I remember the ice bucket challenge. See, my favorite trend when I was in high school was the Harlem Shake, just because it was, it was pretty harmless. You had fun with it. People could be really creative. Like Jimmy Johnson's was super creative. But the ice bucket challenge was really fun. What were some of the other ones? I remember the cinnamon one. That was so stupid. The cinnamon challenge was that one I couldn't stand. The one that I couldn't understand why people were doing it was planking. And I'm wondering how many people in here are too young to know what planking, or if, I don't know if planking is still a thing. Tide Pods were after I was in high school. I think Tide Pods were around the time that I was like, I think 19, 20. The Tide Pod stuff, man. This thing. So I got back on TikTok just because I needed, some people were re-uploading a lot of my stuff, like with my face on it and saying that they were me. And I had to like put a kibosh on that because TikTok is a cesspool. I hate TikTok with a passion. And I hadn't been on TikTok, I think, in like 4 or 5 years. And I can't believe how stupid people are on there. Like how genuinely stupid the people on TikTok are. And then I couldn't believe that, getting back to the NASCAR side of it, how many people illegally pirate races on stream the entire damn race. And then they'll be like, oh, whoa, it's a restart. Like, and if I had done that on YouTube, like if I came on this stream and just had an entire race that was going on live on my screen on YouTube, I'd be taken off of YouTube in 5 minutes. I'd have a copyright strike, and rightfully so, because I wouldn't be adding to stuff to it. But it's like the amount of people who blatantly just take the broadcast and then say barely anything over it, get tons of money from it, and then he'll come on and be like, it's not stealing, man. No, you don't understand. I'm doing it the right way. What? What the hell are you talking about? Like, it's so dumb to me. And it's not just like one person. Like, I scrolled through on Sunday and there were a dozen different people that were just streaming the NASCAR race on there. And it's amazing to me. Like it's amazing to me. And then they'll have the audacity to be like, look at the growth of viewership I have. It's like, no, they're not watching for you. They're watching for the race. Like the entire time too. Like I saw one of them where the person was actually trying to talk like I am now. And the entire chat's like, shut up. I can't hear the broadcast. Like that's what I like about people I see that are on here. Cause there's a ton of people on YouTube that do race watch alongs. And, maybe you'll put up like the live scoring that NASCAR has on their website, which is free, which is out there for the open, which plenty of people, even in media, do. And you do it completely legally and correctly. And I respect that because you bring something to the table, you talk during it. And like, that's why I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm just, it's like when you look at the football side of it, like a Tom Grassi, for instance, is probably the best when it comes to football game watch-alongs. And he has a ton of stuff, and it's amazing the setup he has. The hats off to him as a Vikings fan. Like, I know he's a Packers guy, but hats off to him. He's a great dude. He adds a lot. Yes, there you go. You got to add stuff to it. But you can't put a live broadcast onto your stream and then somehow claim, nah, I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, you kind of are. No, it's fair use. That's not fair use. Like, fair use is, using clips, adding something to it and using it as something in there. And don't get me wrong, there's times I definitely need to get better at that too. So I'm not innocent by any means, but it's just amazing to me to see how different of a culture TikTok is, even with the NASCAR side of things, compared to YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter are so much closer together than people think culture-wise. It's just YouTube's like, honestly, the YouTube comment sections are so much less of a cesspool now. They used to be horrible. And that everybody that, gets taken down for like death threats and shit just went to Twitter or Facebook. What about Twitch? Let's see. Twitch is dying, like that's like, let's see. I don't know if what's this? Your live is YouTube featured? What's that mean? Like, I'm so out of it. I just like pop up live. I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know if it's you're just referencing something or if it's about me, but cool. I don't know. I just like coming on here and yapping. What about Kick? I don't know enough about Kick to have an opinion on it. And I don't want to spout too much on that side of it either. Seems like there's been people that do pretty well. I don't know if... Oh, it means I'm highlighted. Cool. Huh. That's awesome. Hi, Wifeberg. I can hear you in the other room. Hi. But that's cool. Let's see. Ever have a MySpace profile? So that was actually before my time. Because that was like really big in like 2004, 5, 6. And like I avoided getting on Facebook when that was the big craze. Like all my friends got on Facebook. Everyone was doing like Farmville and stuff or posting stuff on Facebook. I remember because we had a party like right before we all went into high school with a bunch of us that had all went to school together that were going into the same high school. There were, I think, like 25 of us there. And I was the only one that wasn't tagged in the photo because I was the only one that didn't have a Facebook. I only got on Twitter. This is the funny part. I only got on Twitter because I had said that I remember I'd said to my friends who wanted me to get on there, I'm like, I will only go on Twitter if Dale Jr. goes on Twitter because, he had an account, but he never used it. And then I remember seeing that damn interview with Michael Waltrip where he's like, I'll get on Twitter if I win the Daytona 500. And I'm like, oh, shit, Junior's really damn good at Daytona. Like, yeah, but it's still, it's a Daytona 500. You don't know. And then he goes on that night and wins it. And I'm like, shit, I got to get on Twitter. And I admit, Twitter was a lot more fun back when it was the Wild West. I mean, Twitter's a cesspool now, but back in like 2014, 15, before they really started to crack down on it, it was nuts. I mean, the amount of some of the stuff I would see just on the front page of Twitter would be like, stuff I don't even know like where you'd see it now. It was crazy. But I did make a MySpace account at one point just to say that I had one, but I never used it. And I remember because around the same time I got Twitter, I made my first YouTube channel, which has since been deleted because I was very embarrassed by it. Because my speaking, if you thought my speaking skills were bad in like 2018, 19, on some of my videos, like if you thought I sounded like just monotone and bad, it was worse when I was like, I think 16 when I made a YouTube channel and I tried to like report NASCAR news. I remember I had one video where I think October of 2014, I had put a video out and it's just me sitting in my bed talking for like 10 minutes about Steve Letarte leaving Dale Jr.'s team because it kind of got leaked out around that time. And I'd put something out, like I'd seen it and I'm like, all right, I'll talk about it. I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. I think I talked about like maybe who the next crew chief would be and stuff like that. And I think the video got like 3,000 or 4,000 views, which for me at the time, I was like, holy hell, man. Like, 3,000 or 4,000 people saw what I was saying. But I just didn't, I wasn't the right time for me to stick with it. So I just, I quietly deleted the channel. First I deleted the videos on the channel. I won't even say the name of it just in case. I don't know if there's like a backup of any of it. Someone thought that, but like I at that point, it's kind of got the seed in my brain a little bit where I'm like, maybe I could do this one day. Not now, but maybe one day. And then around going into 2018, I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. Let's do it. What's the worst gonna happen? It crashes and burns, and I delete it. No one ever knows. And here we are. Here we are. Yeah, we're closing in on 100K. So I will say, here's something that kind of behind the curtain part of it here. So subscriber numbers like definitely have slowed down in the last year or so in general across the board on YouTube. And it's not just NASCAR, it's like everyone, like football, entertainment, all of that. So like I wouldn't be surprised if I don't hit 100K this year. If I do, I'll be eternally grateful. We'll have a kick-ass stream. I'll probably go live for like 10 hours. I'll just yap until my voice is completely gone, like take a nap and then come back and yap some more. Like if we get at 100K when I'm live on like a post-race stream or the podcast or something, I swear, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if it's just going to be stunned silence, eternal gratitude, tears. Like, I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm really looking forward to whenever that moment is, whether it's live or not. I definitely want to do a big live stream event and like stuff like that. I got to figure out something really good for it. Yeah. You'll see Riss hand me food every 2 hours. Do you got iRacing? I was on there at one point. I never raced on there. I didn't want to spend all the money on the sim stuff. And I kind of figured, like, kind of with YouTube, like if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go all in. And if I was going to do iRacing, I was going to go all in, and I didn't want to spend all the money. At the time I didn't have the money. Really, I'm going to be honest, when I got on there. So I only got on there to spot for people in iRacing events. So like there was, and thing is, like, because it was part of a business expense at the time too, I could write it off. So there were a good amount of like IDK player e-tickets early on where I was spotting for people. and I think I was fairly decent because people were asking me to, and other events too. But like, it wasn't like all the time, but it's just, it was something really fun that I liked doing. And, it's just, it was cool, but I couldn't justify spending more than doing it for like a year. So after that, I just never went back. Oh, damn. So if you're watching, JPET, he sent me that, the people on the Restore Our Fairgrounds, the anti-racing account, are going after and trying to fight Landon Huffman about racing at the fairgrounds. That's not somebody you want to get on your bad side because dude's smart and he's witty and he's quick on his feet on comebacks and he knows what the hell he's talking about. It's literally Restore Our Fairgrounds is the Twitter account. They're the one I've basically been ratioing for the past week. The fairgrounds shit is wild, man. Just the astroturfed pushback to the fairgrounds and NASCAR and all of that. It is so astroturf. There's nothing really. I'm sorry. There's nothing behind it. Like I could get people are saying like, oh, it looks this way. Like, no, it's not. The amount of these accounts, if you look at these accounts and watch, like, and you look at their tweets, they have a ton of engagement and it's all people telling you, you're a dumbass, shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about. And all of your statistics are bought and paid for by rich donors in Nashville, which is pretty much the truth. So I do think that when it comes to actually having the factuals side of things correct, the racing side is just blowing the other side out of the water. Yes, I'm going to Chicagoland. Man, I don't care if I have to get like a rental and just sleep in like the back seat of a car. I am going to be on the infield at Chicagoland as long as it's on the Cup schedule. Like I went there 07 to 2019 every year, and there's no way I wouldn't be able to go back. Like I there's no way I wouldn't be able to. Like there'd have to be something right. I mean, my dad is like going to be a few weeks out from having some pretty good, pretty major surgery, and he's going to Chicagoland this year. So like I will be there. I will be there, and it's going to be a blast. If you're in the infield, like, and you see me, come up and say, hey, no matter what the hell I'm doing. Like I want to talk to everyone possible that's there. Let's get as many people like, to have a blast. Let's go to the tweet ups. Let's, do fan zone meetups, all of these different things. Like I want as many people, as much excitement and hype and fun as possible at this weekend. This is my Daytona 500. I'm going to be honest. Like I know it's a normal race for everybody else, but like this one's personal for me. Cause it's the first track, of mine that went away. And it hasn't been the last. And so to have it come back, I'm not going to take it for granted. I'm not going to take any of it for granted. You should definitely wear a Dale Jr. Budweiser shirt at Chicagoland. So I have like really loud ones that have like like a giant 8 across the front. And it's like white with Budweiser, huge logo. I could wear that. Maybe I'll I'll just in the morning be like, if you see me in this hat, it's me. Yeah, I can wear my wife's Budweiser jacket. Like I'll definitely do something to stand out and be noticeable. If I'm doing like media stuff, of course I'll have to be in stuff that's media attire. Like I'm not going to go into the media center looking like I haven't cut off jorts and a sleeveless shirt and looking like my name is unironically Cletus. I obviously, but when I'm not on the clock, basically, if I'm in the media side of it, if I'm not on the clock during the weekend, I'm going to be out there as a fan having a blast. If you weren't a YouTuber who covers NASCAR, would you still have been a fan and following it? So I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. Part of me jumping on YouTube was I wanted to stay engaged. And I saw myself getting less and less engaged as a Dale Jr. fan in 2016 and 17. I still watched every race, but it didn't feel the same to me. And I could feel that, luster of NASCAR wearing off. So I don't know. I know I'd go to Chicagoland with everybody, but like, a lot of the people I would go to Chicagoland with don't watch every race anymore, or, a few years there they didn't. So like I might have been one of those fans that maybe would have fallen away for a little bit and then come back. I'm not sure. I'm gonna be honest. And so that's why I understand fans who have fallen away. And I don't like when fans are like, I've been done for a while and people get all mad at them. It's like, no, like maybe we should listen to why. What was it that kind of pushed you away? because I understand that feeling. I mean, hell, even in 2019 with the 550 package, there were points where I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? Hell, I'll be honest with the playoff stuff. Like, I wasn't thinking of like leaving watching the sport or anything, but like with the controversies constant in 2014, I'm like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, why am I here? Why am I watching this? I'm pissed off every week at it, and it's not fun anymore. So I understand is kind of what I'm trying to say. I understand people who aren't diehards anymore, or fell away for a while, or still are falling away from it, or just aren't going to come back. Like, I get it. That's a good question. And I'm gonna be honest, I know it probably isn't gonna go over well for everybody that I said I don't know, but I wouldn't know. I would hope so. I would definitely hope so, because it's been such a big and integral piece of my life even before I covered it. I mean, I've been a fan of NASCAR for 21 years, and I've only spent 9 of those, including this one on YouTube. So I mean, I've spent majority of my time as a fan, not just covering it. So that's a good question, though. Like, and I would be interested to see what other people have to say about that, whether it's, you know, what part it might have been, you know, or whatever. I'd be interested to see what other YouTubers have to say. I'd be interested I would be really interested in general who answers that question in like the main NASCAR media, truthfully. Like, I'd be really interested in that, not just the YouTube side. Let's see. Keep cup at Bowman Gray. I think that's going to be the new thing that everybody gets behind. And there we go. Respect those are renewed. I'd have a feeling if it were like a truck race, they'd assume, I don't know what the prices are, but if they had like a truck race only there or something, I would assume you'd at least get the money reimbursed back. That was the difference of a cup ticket to truck, but I don't blame you. I still remember my first NASCAR game win, NASCAR 2004 PC Texas, Gordon's Pepsi scheme. Then I won Watkins Glen later. My first one was Daytona, because it was the only one that I could keep up with at 7 years old. I was pretty bad at it. I mean, I just wrecked my way to a win. I remember Martinsville. My goal was I wanted to wreck everyone out. And, you know, I never could get like 1 or 2 guys every time. I know the first time I did a full length race on one of those games was Atlanta. And it took me a while to get a full length race win, because I always managed to like be really fast, but I always would push it too hard and crash. Like a 325 lap Atlanta race, it never failed. I'd crash around lap 240, 260, like right around that 400 mile mark of a 500 miler. And it took a while to win. I remember the first time, though, that I won a full race game win. It was Texas on Thunder 04. And I remember that it was a strategy play at the end where Gordon was the leader at the white flag. He had taken 2 tires, and I had taken 4. I think I was like 12 or so. I mean, I've never been very good at video games, so bear with me on that. But I remember, because as you know, on Thunder 04, like the car would kind of load up to dive into turn 1. I remember as I dove down into 1, I wanted to really dig it down on that white line, and Gordon's car whipped around. He had a flat tire and crashed, and I went by, and I'm like, no way, no effing way. Oh my God. And then I'm like looking at my mirror, and there's Dale Jr. that's like flying up behind me. I'm like, oh crap. And I had to beat him there. But it's like, those are just, those are so fun in the moment. Maybe that might be something fun to do. Like we have like a mini video game tournament or something, like head to head Thunder 04 in the infield on like Sunday at Chicagoland. I get Eric and Danny to come in and try and go against me and a few others. I know there's going to be a lot of people coming to that one. So maybe we can do something like that during the weekend at some point. Maybe we do it like early in the weekend when it's not too crowded, like Friday night or something. As long as it doesn't rain. I'm going to let y'all know, anyone who's going to Chicagoland that might be going for the first time, it never fails. At least one day or night is going to have a big-ass thunderstorm. Every summer weekend at Chicagoland, it's usually Friday or Saturday night. It's a big ass thunderstorm roll through. It never fails. It every single year. So I'm just warning you now. So that'll be another caveat to that side of it. Let's see. Coca-Cola, a $300 billion company, wants pennies for a damn logo on a die-cast car. I agree, man. I agree with all of you guys that are saying that you know what? Got to squeeze every penny out of us, right? Let's see. Which NASCAR tracks are at risk of being dropped? Totally from the schedule. Oh God, I don't know of any right now. I mean, San Diego is the obvious one, just because San Diego, even from what it sounds like from industry side of it, like it sounds like it's a 1-year thing. Like it's a one and done. It's here because they couldn't go to Mexico. I wouldn't be surprised if next year, again, I put it in my video, I would not be surprised if wait, why are you in timeout? Who put Beast Metal in timeout? Hey, I didn't do it. All I know is I didn't do it. I don't know why that happened. It wasn't me. But I wouldn't be surprised if Mexico is in the place of San Diego next year, and then they go to Sonoma the next week. Other than that, I don't know. I don't really know if there's anyone. I mean, if you're looking at races in general, maybe a Bristol Spring and they put Dover in. That's the only one attendance-wise that makes sense. Now, Dover would have to be later on. They'd have to shuffle around the schedule and stuff. But if they're ISC or SMI owned, I don't think they would be. I mean, the thing is, what alarms me about Dover is they've went from 2 races to 1 race to being put in the summer where you could tell they didn't belong to being put as an all-star race without a points race. It's not a good trajectory for that track. And I hate that. I really do. Because I felt like outside of maybe last year, there was a little promise at Dover, but then the dirty air got worse and worse. So maybe the last 2 years, I should say. The first couple of years, Dover was decent with this car. It hasn't got better. I want to see what can happen with the new 750 and the short track side of the setup. Actually, so shameless plug, I'm actually tomorrow going to be putting out a video about that famous kind of mythical 2014 package into 2015 that never was run. The one that had like a 3.5-inch spoiler, 850 horsepower, was able to go like 230 miles an hour into turn 1 at Michigan. I looked into some of that. And I also talked about Rusty Wallace's 242 mile an hour Talladega. It wasn't a test, actually. It was just like basically hot laps. I do have a video tomorrow coming out about a lot of that stuff. If you want to, see that side of it, kind of off topic, but I was thinking of like different packages and stuff. It's interesting. It's really interesting to me how different things could have gone, and also just how fast we could be seeing these cars go. But I figured shameless plug, I'll put that there. So there's no footage, by the way, of that Michigan test in 2014. But I've seen 214 Bill lap, the 215 mile an hour one. Like these laps, not the Michigan one, but like the Rusty Wallace one would have blown that out of the water. And the speeds were incredible in that Michigan test. I remember reading about it. I remember everybody being excited about it and how like, oh, if we do this in 2015, the racing can improve a lot. Because believe it or not, 2014 was not as well loved in the moment as it is now. It definitely had its issues. And yeah, Kenny and Rusty Wallace do talk about it, and I that's one of the sources. I'm going to link it in the description of my video. I kind of give like at least some PowerPoints of it. I don't repeat the whole thing. I will say it's like a 10-minute video. Y'all should definitely watch it. It's really cool. Let's see. What's the ugliest paint schemes you've ever seen? Oh, dude, some of those Raptor ones with William Byron were awful. Like that poop green color one a couple of years ago, or more than a couple of years ago now, was terrible. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I hated the Dale Senior tie-dye car. I thought it looked so bad. I remember I think my grandpa has it as a die cast. And I remember that was the one car where I'm like, ew. So not a big fan of that one. I know a lot of people are. I'm not. I just couldn't. I know they met well with it, but the 2007 throwbacks to the 57 Chevys that they ran at Michigan on that Tuesday race that had been rained out for a while. Oh, it's so bad looking. I know what they meant to do, but those cars just could not pull it off. Like they just were not meant to run that kind of. If you're talking about the Dale Senior one, it was in the 2000 All-Star race. I want to say it was the one that Dale Jr. won. So 2000. There's been some pretty ugly ass cars, man. There's been some pretty good ones too, though. Let's see. Pepsi didn't need cocaine to get people to buy it. Just saying. I mean, I would never try that, but I have to admit, like, there had to be a diehard Coca-Cola drinker who was like, he just sitting there one day and he's like, all right, I got my fix. Why does it taste so bad? Like, they just hate it. Oh, man. Let's see. I got to move this one here. Here in Brazil, in like 15 ads, I get 7 to 9 of them is gambling, some containing Fortune Tiger-esque games that are scams, and people that are famous here get stupid rich, or AI chatbot ads that are literal porn. That's not very far off of America either. I'm not going to lie. The ones I know for me, I don't maybe get like that many ads. But I know for me, I always get those stupid mobile games or the ones that people are like, if you do this, you'll cash in and be rich. You get a lot of AI ones. And then you also get like the McDonald's ones. The thing that'll set us apart here in America is I get pharmaceutical ads on mine. And I know the rest of the world doesn't get that. And honestly, I think America should follow suit. But that's the one that I think sets us apart. That and I was watching a NASCAR video someone had on like an O'Reilly series driver, and I got the damn Peyronie's disease commercial, and I'm like, ew, I can't even escape it on YouTube. I don't want. Telling you, I've said it a million times. You can always tell the demographic that is watching a channel or is watching a sporting event by the ads you get. And then I was like, then why the hell am I at 28 years old getting a freaking Peyronie's disease commercial? I didn't know what that was until a year ago. I hope y'all know that. I didn't know what the hell that was. And I'm like, it sounds like what I think it is. I'm going to look at it. It is exactly what I think it is. Ew. Like, I just, sick of those damn commercials. Girlfriend and I are going to Charlotte in May for the 600. It's a race I've always wanted to check off my bucket list. I'll have fun. It's probably going to be a banger. And seeing how Prime is covering it instead of Fox, you're not going to be taken off the air for missed. So they'll even if hopefully, knock on wood, no weather issues. It's probably going to be a pretty badass race. I'm not going to lie. I'm really looking, not just for the Prime part, but just the racing. I'm looking so forward to Charlotte this year. And we get it twice. We're going to get, so I think the 600 and the fall race are going to feel so different, even more than they did before. Because you got the 600, which is this 400 lap marathon race. And then you go to the chase race, which is a 400 miler, not a sprint, but a pretty quick race, all things considered, compared to the 600. I don't know if I'm going to go as far to say that I think the fall race will be better than the 600, but I have a feeling from the drop of the green flag, there's going to be a lot more urgency in the fall. And that is going to be really, really cool. And true, I see in the chat there, NBC isn't innocent off of taking races off big NBC. That's true. The fact that NASCAR once got booted off for reruns of SVU. Let's be honest, when the hell's the last time that SVU has been a relevant show? It's been irrelevant for a while, but I've seen some clips of that show where I just laugh because of how horrible it is. I remember my parents used to watch it all the time when I was like 12 or so, and I'd watch it and just be like, this is horrifying. This is probably based on real stuff, and I wish it wasn't. But I got to admit, it's a pretty good show. Was. I need to look for my old Terry Labonte hat. Yes. Honestly, you know, it'd be cool. And I wonder if we can make this like a little grassroots thing that grows on social media, is like the Sunday of Chicagoland weekend, either have like a vintage NASCAR hat or something red, white, and blue. Like just like a theme or something. Like a vintage NASCAR hat or vintage NASCAR stuff on like the Sunday of the race would be really damn cool. It's going to be a long ass time before that race starts. If I'm not mistaken, that race starts something like 6 p.m. Eastern, so 5 local. And man, I'm going to be in the infield for that. Let's see. The official time it's starting is, yes, so 5 local time. I'll be real. I've been in the infield for a long time at Chicagoland, and that place is a madhouse. And you're going to have a bunch of them that are going to be in the infield, and more than likely 95-degree weather, getting drunk off their asses, waiting all day for NASCAR. That is going to be a wild ass party after the race. I know I'm going to be sitting with my family and friends and whoever wants to come by. I know there's a few people that'll be there that weekend that definitely want to hang out. Probably all just going to sit down at our campsite, drink some beer, and watch a bunch of rednecks do some dumb shit. And it's going to be a great ass time, man. It's going to be a great time. I absolutely love it. I can't wait, man. I feel the perfect NASCAR month of May would be Kansas, Dover, Bristol at 400 laps, All-Star at Charlotte. Tradition is needed back in the sport, followed by the 600. I would like that. I would, I think that's a really good way to go. Mine personally, I got to work my way backwards on this one. I would probably do the same last two of obviously the 600 is the last one. You have to keep it where it's supposed to be. But 600, I'd be cool with the All-Star race back at Charlotte just because of how great the racing is. I don't think it's going to be super oversaturated if the racing is awesome. That was never too much of a problem in the 2000s and the 90s. I don't know why it would be that now that Charlotte is one of the best tracks, if not the best track on the schedule. Okay, and then so you got the week after Mother's Day. I'd be cool with that one being Kansas personally, because then you have 3 great weeks in a row. I really like the tradition that had been built up of Mother's Day at Darlington. And then if we want to go really wild, if they fix the racing next year, I would love Talladega. If you did Talladega, Darlington, Kansas, Charlotte All-Star, Coke 600, I feel like that would be like a murderer's row of really fun events if you get the racing right. I think Darlington wasn't that bad this year, honestly. I think a lot of people were kind of overreacting to that one, but Charlotte would be awesome. Kansas would be awesome. And if you can get those super speedway stuff, which by the way, they find something in that January test, there's no guarantee it's going to be implemented at Daytona. It could be implemented at Talladega like in 2019. So if you can get all of those all in a row, that would be a fun month of May. Plus, you'd be able to have a Fox race a little closer to the end of it. So you might be able, one, to convince Fox, hey, we can use it to promote IndyCar because that's their big push right now. But you also be able then to keep NASCAR kind of in the focus a little bit longer leading into the Prime side of it. And if Prime paid a shit ton of money, Fox will let them advertise for sure, even though they have like a back and forth going. Eating at Chili's, I'll come back and watch this later. I appreciate it. Just glad the 12 team is making a change. Let the new guys get reps on a lower tier team. Go 12. Yeah. I mean, the 12 team and Ryan Blaney are in win now mode. The 21 is basically their development program. And I think that's probably the way it should go. Plus, let's be honest, there's not much further back that Josh Berry could go at this point. Yeah, ride the Dante. I love if you listen to that commercial, by the way, it's just calling NASCAR fans stupid. It's like, we thought that was a little too hard for NASCAR fans, so we just figured we'd say ride the Dante. It's like, Was I the only one that caught on to that the first time I saw that commercial where it's like, we're going to get the new whatever margarita? I guess they were right because I don't remember what the hell it is. And then they said, but ride the Dante. That's all I thought of when I saw that the first time. And I remember because I didn't see that commercial until after the ARCA race that was sponsored by it. And it was the Ride the Dente 250 or whatever, or 150. I think it was Matt Weaver said, I don't know what the Dente is, but I went off this ride because that was the ARCA race that had like 1 million cautions. Oh man, that was something. I won tickets to Kansas, can't go, sold them. I'll be at Texas though. Thought about Talladega. I'll do Kansas and Talladega in the fall. Can't wait. I'll be there in the fall at Kansas for sure. But that should be a pretty fun back to back. That should be pretty fun. Yeah. All right. I'm not the only one that thought it. I'm not the only one that thought that. And I do agree. Some of the smartest people I've met are NASCAR fans too. I will also say some of the dumbest mother effers on this planet are NASCAR fans. Like we reach both ends of that spectrum pretty damn well. But I've met some brilliant people that just, it blows my mind how intelligent they are that are the NASCAR fans, just like all of us. I'm sure there's plenty of you in the chat that are the same way. I'm not going to insult a bunch of your guys' intelligence and say on the other side, we weeded those ones out mostly. But yeah, that was the first thing I thought of. I'm like, did they just call us stupid? Yeah, that's right. We bump and grind in a non-sexual way. Oh my God. I remember that one. There's been some good ones, man. There's been some good like slogans or crazy ass things they put in there. That I'm just just like, what? Like when Mike Joy was like, in NASCAR, DEI is not diversity and equity. It stands for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. And I knew as soon as he said that, there were going to be 100 different edits of old Dale Earnhardt Incorporated wins from like 2001, 2, and 3. And I was right. And it was great. My Instagram, see, I saw y'all saying it in the chat earlier. I'm a big Instagram Reels guy over shorts most of the time and definitely over TikTok. And my Instagram Reels were filled with that. And then the background as he's saying it, it's the Kevin James doing the gentleman start your engines. And I knew that was going to be on 1 million of those. They were all pretty damn funny too. It's just like, I remember like hearing that, just be like, Mike, where are we going with this? Like, I don't mind you saying it. I'm just more like, I don't want to have to deal with the Twitterati afterwards. Oh man. I'm down with, yeah, let's bring him back. Let's bring him back for Daytona. Like, let's bring him back for Daytona next year. Next year, have him be the Grand Marshal at the summer race for the 20 years since then. Yes, next year will be 20 years since 2007. That's just crazy to me. Oh yeah, Pastor Joe. He's at the fairgrounds all the time, and the dude's awesome. He is absolutely a riot to be around. He is so fun. Because sometimes, like if they're running low on guys in the pits or up in the booth, like he'll jump in and help with that, and he does work at the fairgrounds. And I saw, his clip is going viral again. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, Pastor Joe's going viral again. Yeah, I love that. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Amen. The best part is seeing the guys like Eric Almirola and Carl Edwards and the other drivers' reactions too, when they're just like, what the did he just say? Oh man. Yes, that I would love that. They're probably going to get some celebrity that doesn't give a damn about motorsports to do it, but I would love Mark Martin and Kevin Harvick do the command for the 20-year anniversary of the 2007 Daytona 500. That would be super cool. I would. Oh my God. I just pulled a Ty Gibbs. I don't know how many of y'all watch Speed Freaks, but they did a compilation of Ty Gibbs' press conference. And you know how like sometimes I'll say or I'll be like that and drone on when I need filler words or maybe I stutter. Ty Gibbs filler is super cool. I think in like a 17-minute press conference, I want to say, Ty said super cool something like 27 times. Where he's like, yeah, super cool, super cool, super cool. And they put a compilation together of every time he said super cool. And it was, I knew it. I knew as soon as I heard that, I'm like, I'm going to say that at some point this week or on a stream or something. And it's just going to come out of my mouth and I'm not even going to think about it. That's probably going to end up on Instagram at some point, me saying that. And yeah, Junior says a million times. I say it a million times too. I'm not pretending I'm a great public speaker by any means. I mispronounce or stutter or say something just about every other sentence I talk at this point. Let's see. I had one of those AI chatbot ads that contained the kid version of Gwen from Ben 10 YouTube breaking guidelines just to make some money. Yeah, that sounds like YouTube. Sounds like YouTube in a nutshell. Hot take: Watkins Glen is my favorite track. I don't think that's a hot take. I probably should read the rest of it. It's the only NASCAR track in my home state. It was the first race I've been to, and it is rich with history. I mean, I don't think that's a hot take. I think if you have a decent car that's better than the FUBAR car we have now, you're going to have a good race there. I mean, Gen 6 on back, Watkins Glen races were fun as hell. It's the car. I don't think your favorite track being Watkins Glen is a hot take at all. I think that's a perfectly fine racetrack to have as your favorite. Hello, I just finished the latest Emp Lemon video, 15 out of 10. Everyone should watch it. I agree. And we'll probably wrap this up in the next 10 minutes or so. Afterwards, go watch it. It is so fun to see his perspective on all of it. And all of the things for me, all the things he said in the last couple of years, all of it, he got it all into just like one relatively concise 100-minute video. It's great. It is great in every way. Hello, hope your day was good. Going to Kansas this weekend. Going to be my first time there. Are you also planning to see the tire test at Chicagoland? So I knew people were going to ask about this. I won't be at the tire test. If I still lived in Illinois, I would be, but I live about 8.5 hours from the track, and it's, I think, a Tuesday. So it'd be pretty irresponsible for me to leave town and have to last second, because my wife works, either have her stay home from work or, dump my child off with somebody. But it's also my anniversary, so that would probably make it that much worse. I'm not going to lie. So unfortunately, I won't be there. I know a lot of people that will be there, and I hope it's a blast. But yeah, there's no way. I mean, we actually talked about it. My wife and I did, because she's like, if we can make it work, like, let's get you up there. Because my wife's very supportive of what I do on here and going to these different events and stuff. But it didn't make sense. I would love to. I wish I could, but it just isn't, in the cards. And again, I don't want anyone blaming my wife. She was pushing me to like figure out different ways to go. She's like, maybe if you do this and you do this and we do this and this and this, and I'm like, or I could just stay and we could, be fine. I mean, she would probably want to go. Yeah, I'm saying, does she want to go? She'd probably want to go, but it's just we got responsibilities that supersede going to that. We have plenty of time. We'll be at Chicagoland. I'll probably stop at Chicagoland at some point before the race weekend, and see people there. Like, it ain't the end of the world. Plus, if there's any major thing that breaks, I'm probably going to be live immediately. Be like live from a restaurant wearing all my nice clothes. Be like, really quick, we'll be on for 5 minutes. Chicagoland, this, and this. But no, it couldn't happen. It's okay. So we're gonna have the race. As long as the track doesn't get hit by a tornado, that it doesn't, knock on wood, we'll be able to, we'll have the race. And that's what matters at the end of the day. Having the race in there is what matters. I'm really interested in what the tire wear is going to be, because it's a very old, very abrasive track. I've firsthand have felt it, what the track is like right now. It is very abrasive. If you saw the Carson Hocevar video, you know that it's very, very abrasive. I'm wondering if this is going to be like Atlanta 2.0, like old, like previous generation Atlanta, not the old Atlanta, but the old Atlanta. I'm wondering if it's going to be like that, or if it's going to be closer to Kansas. But I think it's going to be wild. I think it's going to be absolutely wild. I see knocking on your head. Well, there's no wood around here really, so that's all I got. But yeah, you guys should definitely do a vlog about your Chicagoland trip. I was thinking about doing that. I was thinking about like, I would not be. I do not have the editing prowess that people like Eric or Danny have, so it would probably be much shorter. Probably be like, instead of, like a 30, 40-minute, hour-long one, it'd probably be closer to like 15, 20 minutes. But that might be something really good to roll with and try. Let's see. I still, on one of the nights, probably after the ARCA race, I was thinking I want to do a stream of just wandering around the infield, or just talking like this and just seeing who comes up and who says what, and how long it takes before the damn stream gets taken down. Because if you've been in the infield of a NASCAR race, you know that there's some wild ass shit you're going to see. And it's going to be hot. There are going to be a lot of drunk people. And if it's anything like Chicagoland in the past, clothes will probably be optional for half the people in there. I mean, like there's some wild stuff, man. It's pretty wild. Back in the day, Chicagoland used to rival Talladega with craziness at times. I mean, it was wild, wild, wild. There'd be like people lighting off fireworks in the infield sideways, just right down the street. I remember sitting in the first, not night, but the first weekend that we were in Chicagoland back in 2007. And like everyone kind of went to sleep, and they were lighting off shit left and right. I remember somebody, because it was my grandpa and I at that point, because everyone else hadn't shown up yet. Somebody had like fired a firework, and it just flew sideways past the camper and blew up in the middle of the infield. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I don't want to sleep near the window anymore. I've seen plenty of people. I'll just put it like that. If you remember when we had, like, I want to say it was like 6 years ago, we had Randy the plumber on, and he talked about when he took his son to Talladega. It was very similar to that story. I'll just say that. If you don't know about that one, that was I think during COVID, and it was one of the more wild streams I've ever been a part of, and definitely wouldn't fly today's litmus test for people. Yeah, I was a kid in 2007. Definitely. It was not worse than Dega, but I remember Tony Stewart at one point saying it was on par, which was kind of crazy to hear. Yeah. I'll just say this. I learned a lot about human anatomy at Chicagoland those first few years. I was like, whoa. I remember with AJ Allmendinger seeing the girl who I thought was wearing a bikini and wasn't. And I was like, was I supposed to see that? I remember AJ just being like, I remember he had his sunglasses and he just went, signed my book or whatever I had. It's wild, man. I'm not expecting it to hit the peak that it had back when there was like 100,000, 90, 80, 70,000 people that be there, but I think it's going to be wild. I think it'll be a fun party. Let's see. Hunter Nixon, good to see you. Used to have a DVD collection years ago about the 2002 NASCAR season, and it was narrated by Ken Squire. I used to watch it on repeat as a kid. Hits me in the feels. So I have the one about 2005, the DVD set, and I used to watch that all the time too. Like, I remember that was the first thing I ended up watching when I got my first laptop, because back then they had DVD players on them. Oh, is Mini Bird going to bed? Night. No, Wifeberg's going to bed. Is the dog going to bed too? Is that right? Or is he already there?
Why do you ask me questions you already know the answer?
All right, the dog's already in. Okay, so I'm gonna be the only one up here, man. We can make it a marathon stream. Oh man. Part of being a husband is you just gotta poke at the bear a little bit with your wife. You just gotta mess with it just a little bit. Not enough that like you get in trouble, but just enough that she gives you like that like side eye glare. That's like, oh yeah, I should probably shut up in a minute. Oh man. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I saw at Chicagoland. I'll just say that. I saw because back then that was when the college scene was still in the infield and still partied at NASCAR races. So you know, it was wild. It was wild, man. All right, we'll probably close up in a minute or two here. Anything else? I'm reading some of these you guys are putting in here, and these are funny, man. Let's see. I'm just going through, double checking. I think that'll probably be it. I know we didn't cover necessarily everything in the title. There's title down here. The title's up here for me, and it's like down here, I think, for everybody else. Let's see. Okay, maybe a couple more here. I guess I'm seeing you guys leave. That's the thing. I'm like, if you guys are gonna ask questions, we'll just close it up. If not, we can keep going for a few. Let's see. You got to go at least once. You got to go at least once to an infield. You know, the infield is a different world. You got to experience it at least once. Just make sure it's a place that's like actually has a lot of campers. Let's see. Have you videotaped races? If you mean like on VHS tapes, yeah, I used to do that. Like 2005, 2006, any rainout races. Snapback, I'm not going to answer necessarily all of these questions. All I'll say is wild shit happens in the infield, and that's all I'm going to say on it. I did not partake. I'll just say that. That's how you get diseases, man. If you guys are looking at the chat right now, y'all are wild. I might open Pandora's box on that one. Let's see. If you could, which manufacturer in the Cup Series would you drive? Probably Chevy. I mean, maybe not right now, but generally Chevy. Quick thoughts on the Blaney crew changes. I like that they're doing it. I want to see if they can gel. I think they should have done it between, during the break though. Let's see. Nice color, Mike Jarrett, better than purple, right? Nah, I mean, we can change it up. Why not? Right? There we go. I actually have, I'll put it back. I don't know how this sounds, if it's weird for you guys sound wise, but I actually have this one. I had it for Xfinity, and because I do jump on Viking podcasts and stuff, so I'll just put it on. I have themed pop filters for just about everything. Blue for my channel, right? Red for trucks, purple for Xfinity and Viking stuff, green for O'Reilly, and then the big one, for Cup races and e-ticket events. So I have no shortage of theming it. I just like doing little things like that. Plus, if you haven't noticed, the green on here, I have it already set for the O'Reilly stuff. So fun fact, right? When you see me put up, different banners and stuff, like let's say like this, and it's green. So I actually got you can find online the actual codes, the color codes for different brands. So this is like official O'Reilly green down here, right? And then I can just switch it up on air. I can show you, the difference of different ones. So like that's the O'Reilly one. So then there's Craftsman Red, right? So I can just pop up. I'll just put this Craftsman Red, and there it's red. And then I have the NASCAR colors too. So like the red from the NASCAR logo is actually different than the red on the Craftsman one. So like this is, we do it themed. Like I have the blue one for NWP. Danny has the red one. Eric has the yellow one. So you can't really tell too much of a difference, but there is a difference here with the red. I did change it, but it is different. But then like here's the official NASCAR. If I can get it copied right, the official NASCAR yellow is this one. And then here is I believe if I have it right, is the official NASCAR blue that they have on the logo. And that's the one you see on my channel when I do streams like this. Kind of matches the border I have around here too. And then tomorrow, or not tomorrow, I keep thinking it's Friday. And then Saturday, and I'll just keep it back on this one just so I don't have the wrong one when I go live on Saturday, back to O'Reilly green. I just figure nice little, tiny details and stuff like that and make differences. But yeah, basically too, like that's how you can find also like paint colors and colors online. You can find, I think somebody posted it on Twitter because they were looking for, other people were looking for trading paints for it. You can find the 2 different codes of red that Dale Jr.'s car was for the Budweiser car. Because it was a darker shade of red from 99 till 03, and then from 04 until he left, it was actually a brighter shade of red. So like if you look back at some of those old broadcasts, like it'll look different. I believe this one, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, this one was the old one, and then the newer one was like this more vibrant one. Yeah, Eric, I think he uses the DeWalt yellow. Which is a different one necessarily than the NASCAR one that we use on the podcast. You might not be able to see it as much, but there's just, those are just like little things I figured I'd show you guys. Like I like doing it, I like having those, and then pop that there. Let's see. I miss the purple in the old NASCAR logo. I still think that the old one is superior. New one's not bad. That kind of goes along with some of the stuff we were talking about earlier. I just don't like the minimalism. I'm not a fan of minimalism on logos. Same with like, architecture of like restaurants and stuff. Like I hate just the box restaurant. Whereas like old McDonald's restaurants had the arches, and Taco Bell had like the bell look on it. Like I liked stuff looking different from each other. And the NASCAR logo had like that purple in it, and the color that would go across. And then the new one is like black, and then it has like the stripes on the side, and it's just like it's okay. It's clean, definitely. But I'm a sucker for the old one, personally. It doesn't need to be overly flashy, but that's just me, personally. But it ain't the end of the world. And there's still some pretty cool stuff, too, out there. Not gonna lie. There's some pretty cool designs. I mean, hell, I always have an excuse to show this off. I thought that was a good, it's definitely not, like, iconic. People aren't going to remember it, in 20 years like they might the HendrickCars.com car. But it definitely stands out. That's my thing with designs. I want your design to stand out. I want to look on track and point and say, that's you. That's Dale Jr., right? That's Jeff Gordon. That's Dale Earnhardt with the red underneath, but that's Dale Earnhardt. That's what I want. I know you can't do it because most don't have sponsors the whole year, but if you have something that sticks out, I mean, hell, when I was at Chicago in that first year, and I got on top of the camper we had, I look over at turn 2 across the backstretch, and I just see this bright neon yellow car, and I'm like, Paul Menard, there he is. That's what I want. All right. I do think now we are definitely going to call it a night. I appreciate you guys all coming out. I appreciate on such short notice. I like just popping these up like once a month and yapping with y'all. But thank you guys for coming on out and have a great rest of your Thursday night. You'll see the video tomorrow. I will see you on Saturday for the O'Reilly post race and Sunday for the Cup one. But video tomorrow. Be sure to check it out. And